Ever notice that sort of crusty buildup in your kettle? Or maybe your coffee machine?
Lime scale.
Yeah, that subtle layer that just seems to slow everything down a bit.
Right.
Well, that unseen problem, limescale, it isn't just hanging out in your kitchen. Imagine it scaling up, like way up, to a massive industrial power plant or a hospital's really critical equipment.
Yeah, even a tiny layer there can cause huge problems.
Exactly. It can drastically slash energy efficiency, costing millions in, wasted fuel and lost output. That's the real silent drain we're talking about. Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into the world of something called descalers. Now, it sounds technical, I know, but trust me, this is kind of an unsung hero. It impacts efficiency across global industries.
Absolutely. From keeping vital machinery running smoothly to even helping reduce the carbon footprint of major operations.
And we've pulled together some really fascinating research, actually, from cognitive market research.
Yeah.
It lays out the current trends, future opportunities. It's this often invisible, but yeah, absolutely crucial industry.
And our mission for you today, really, is to cut through the jargon. We want to show you why this market, which is valued at hundreds of millions of dollars, isn't just growing.
Which is amazing in itself.
It is,
Yeah.
but also how it's navigating some pretty big challenges and driving some incredible innovation. By the end of this deep dive, you'll not only understand what descalers are, but you'll get why they matter so profoundly for efficiency, sustainability, and even, for your health in the bigger economic picture.
Okay, so let's get right into it then. When we talk about descalers, what exactly are we referring to and how do they actually, tackle this problem of scale?
Fundamentally, descalers are specialized solutions. They can be chemical, sometimes mechanical. Their main job, their core function, is removing mineral buildup,
Okay.
specifically those hard calcium and magnesium deposits you mentioned earlier. We call that scale.
Right.
Think of them as like the precision cleanup crew for any system that uses water. And the reason they're so vital is that these deposits, this scale, it really impairs the efficiency and the functionality of, well, everything. From huge industrial boilers, complex heat exchangers,
Wow.
cooling towers, even advanced water filtration units. They're essential across so many industries: manufacturing, hospitality, healthcare, utilities.
So pretty much everywhere
Yeah,
water is used heavily.
exactly.
Yeah.
All aimed at keeping things running smoothly, minimizing equipment downtime, and, this is critical, extending the lifespan of machinery that can cost millions to replace.
Mm.
Honestly, without them, our modern infrastructure would probably just grind to a halt.
That's actually striking when you put it like that. How something seemingly small, like a mineral deposit, can just ripple outwards, affecting a huge factory or, yeah, even the taste of your morning coffee. Now, here's where it gets, I think, genuinely compelling. You might never have thought about descalers as a major industry, right? But the numbers, well, they tell a pretty powerful story. Cognitive market research reported the global descaler market was valued at around USD 415.2 million in 2024. When I first saw that number, I have to admit, I was genuinely surprised. Just the sheer scale of it.
And it's only accelerating. It's projected to reach USD 590.5 million by 2032,
Wow.
which means a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 4.50%.
Okay, so what's pushing that? What's fueling this kind of growth?
Well, there are a few key drivers. First, just the relentless need for descaling. Industries are constantly battling scale formation. It's an ongoing problem.
Sure.
Second, we're seeing really significant advancements in the descaling formulations themselves, especially ones that prioritize environmental safety.
Ah, the green angle.
Exactly. This rising adoption of sustainable, non-toxic, biodegradable solutions, that's a
Yeah.
huge factor now. And finally, think about the hospitality industry. Hotels, restaurants, they rely so heavily on efficient water systems. Laundries, water heating, they need clean systems running 24/7. That's a major driver too.
That growth really does underscore just how fundamental this is. Maintaining infrastructure, even the bits we don't really think about. Okay, let's shift focus a bit. Let's talk about the current dynamics in this market. You mentioned the green angle. One major trend that seems to stand out is this really noticeable and very intentional shift towards innovations that reduce environmental impact.
Absolutely, it's huge.
It's not just about cleaning anymore, is it? It's about cleaning responsibly.
Precisely. The green movement here isn't just, good PR. It's a fundamental shift in the chemistry.
How so?
Well, we're seeing a definite move away from those traditional harsh acids like hydrochloric acid you sometimes find. Instead, they're looking at things like bio-based enzymes or advanced polymer formulations.
Oh, okay.
These newer methods, they break down scale differently. Often they reduce the amount of sludge produced afterwards, and that significantly cuts down water treatment costs further down the line.
Ah, so it's a bigger picture efficiency thing, too.
Totally. It's kind of a complete reimagining of the problem, driven by, yes, regulations, but also a genuine push for more sustainable practices.
That's really fascinating. So with this green shift happening, where are we seeing the strongest demand globally? Are there particular hotspots leading the way?
There definitely are. If you look at 2024, North America actually holds the largest market share, about 35%.
Okay.
And that's largely driven by its massive industrial base. Plus, they have increasingly strict water treatment regulations.
Makes sense.
Europe isn't far behind, holding 30%. Again, strong industrial sector. And Europe's had a focus on sustainability for quite a while now.
Right.
But the region that everyone's really watching, the one with most future potential, that's Asia Pacific. It's projected for the highest growth. It's expected to rise from 25% in 2024 to an impressive 28% by 2025.
Wow, that's a quick jump.
It is. And it's fueled by really rapid industrialization, especially in economic powerhouses like China and India. Plus, you've got an expanding hospitality sector there too, and just generally a growing awareness of water quality issues.
So with all that growth, these regional shifts, how competitive does this market actually get? Who are the big names and how do they compete? Is it just about the formulas?
Oh, it's intensely competitive.
Yeah.
You have established players like 3M holding a significant share, maybe 13% in 2024. Then there's Honeywell International Inc. at around 10%, and even Keurig with about 8%.
Keurig, like the coffee machines.
Yeah, they have descaling solutions for their machines, obviously, but they play in the broader market too. These companies, they're pouring resources into R&D, constantly pushing for more effective, more eco-friendly solutions.
Okay.
But it's not just R&D. They also compete through strategic partnerships, mergers, acquisitions. These are common strategies to expand their product lines and their global reach.
Standard corporate playbook stuff.
Pretty much. And it's a dynamic space. With that explosive growth we mentioned in Asia Pacific, we fully anticipate a wave of new competitors emerging, probably by 2025. That'll only intensify the competition and hopefully drive even more innovation.
Which brings up a really interesting point. Are there other ways to deal with scale? Other solutions? And if there are, why do descalers seem to hold such a big share, even dominance, in the market?
That's an excellent question. And yes, there are alternatives. Things like water softeners are common. They held about maybe 30% of the overall water treatment market in 2024.
Right, I have one of those.
And chemical scale inhibitors, they're another category, around 20%. But descalers maintain a distinct advantage.
How so?
Well, think of water softeners like a preventive measure for your whole house, right?
Yeah.
They take the minerals out of the water before it can form new scale.
Okay, stops it forming.
Exactly. Descalers, though, are more like a specialized solvent. They're specifically designed to dissolve the hardened existing buildup, stuff that a softener can't touch once it's already formed.
Ah, so it's remedial.
Precisely. Their targeted approach in removing existing scale, combined with how easy they often are to apply and their high performance. That's why they're often preferred when you already have a scale problem. As of 2024, descalers represent about 50% of the overall water treatment market.
Half the market. Wow.
Yeah, and it's projected to nudge up slightly, maybe to 52% by 2025. Their dominance really comes from how effective they are in critical sectors, manufacturing plants, large commercial buildings, places where you need precise cleanup and immediate efficiency improvements.
But, okay, it can't all be smooth sailing. Let's talk about the challenges. The hurdles facing the descaler market. One big one, which you touched on earlier, is the use of some pretty harsh chemical ingredients in the, let's say, traditional formulas.
Yeah, that's the flip side.
The harsh truth, maybe?
You could call it that, yeah. The harsh truth is that many traditional descalers still rely on strong chemicals. Hydrochloric acid is a common one.
Right, nasty stuff.
It is incredibly effective at dissolving scale, no doubt. But these substances, they come with significant risks. They can cause, severe skin irritation, respiratory issues, release harmful fumes when you use them.
Yikes.
And beyond the direct health impacts, improper disposal is a huge issue. It leads to serious soil and water contamination. Creates a pretty substantial environmental footprint.
So those safety and environmental concerns, they're not just footnotes, they're actually shaping the market now.
Oh, absolutely. They're major market dynamics.
Yeah.
They're directly driving the demand for safer alternatives, pushing huge R&D investment towards those green solutions we talked about, and frankly, increasing regulatory pressure on manufacturers worldwide.
And I imagine another challenge often linked to developing those safer, better solutions is just the cost.
Indeed. The cost of raw materials for these advanced formulations, especially specialized acids or bioenzymes or solvents, it directly bumps up the product prices.
Yep.
And that can limit accessibility, maybe for smaller businesses or even individual consumers, particularly when you're talking industrial grade strength.
Yeah, the really potent stuff.
Exactly. So it raises this constant question for manufacturers. How do you balance performance, which has to be there, with safety and affordability? It creates this constant pressure on them to innovate, not just to meet tougher global regulations, but also to find cost-effective, high-performing, and sustainable products that can actually compete in this global market.
So, okay, given those challenges and this immense pressure to innovate constantly, what does the future actually hold for descalers? It sounds like it's definitely a story of continuous tech advancement.
It certainly is. We absolutely expect to see a surge of even more efficient and especially more environmentally friendly solutions coming onto the market.
Any examples?
Yeah, actually, a good recent one is Gelmar, LLC. They launched their CLR Prio Max Industrial Descaler back in February 2024. It was specifically engineered for faster, deeper results, dissolving both scale and rust.
Okay, faster and deeper.
Right. And beyond just new formulas, there's going to be a really strong focus on energy-efficient solutions. Products that not only remove the scale effectively, but also drastically cut down on the water and energy used during the cleaning process itself.
And that's a really critical point when we talk about overall sustainability, isn't
Yeah.
it? Reducing the impact of the cleaning itself. What about versatility?
Good point.
Hmm.
Absolutely. We'll also see the development of more versatile kind of multifunctional descalers, ones that are compatible with a much wider range of industrial systems. Think HVAC units, complex food processing equipment.
Right, not just boilers.
Exactly. And for the everyday user, at home, there's a clear trend towards miniaturization, making powerful cleaning agents more accessible in smaller, safer formats for household use.
Okay.
Plus, expect increased automation in the cleaning process, more sophisticated descaling machines, integrated systems, especially in places like the hospitality industry where downtime is money.
And on that cost front we discussed, how are manufacturers trying to make these crucial solutions more accessible while still pushing the innovation forward?
Well, they're exploring pretty much every avenue, looking at alternative, maybe more affordable raw materials, optimizing the manufacturing processes themselves.
Like automation?
Exactly. Automation can definitely streamline production, reduce labor costs. Even things like 3D printing could play a role, maybe for more efficient prototyping, or perhaps localized manufacturing of specialized parts, cutting down supply chain costs.
Interesting.
And, of course, leveraging economies of scale. As demand grows, producing more should help bring unit costs down. Ultimately, though, I think you'll see collaborations and strategic partnerships continuing to be really key. They'll foster innovation in this competitive market because, honestly, no single company can really tackle all these challenges alone.
So, wow, what a journey we've been on. We started with that little bit of scale and a kettle and saw its surprising impact on global industry. We've uncovered this dynamic, multi-million-dollar market, looked at its growth, the global hotspots, the fierce competition. We examined why descalers still hold sway over alternatives, faced that sort of harsh truth about their traditional chemical makeup,
Right.
and explored how this cutting-edge innovation is really pushing towards safer, smarter solutions.
I think the core takeaway here really is that the descaler market is at this truly exciting inflection point.
Yeah.
It's being driven by this dual urgent need, one for greater operational efficiency and the other for increasing environmental responsibility.
Yeah.
It's actually a powerful testament, I think, to how crucial seemingly small things like just preventing mineral buildup really are for the bigger picture, the picture of global industry, energy conservation, and overall sustainability.
So what does all of this mean for you listening? Well, consider that hidden network. These crucial solutions working tirelessly, often unseen, keeping our modern world's machinery running smoothly.
From the espresso machine at your local coffee shop.
Right. All the way up to those massive industrial complexes that literally power our cities. And think about how continued innovation, often in these overlooked areas like descaling, is absolutely key to building a more sustainable and efficient future for all of us.
Definitely.
So the next time you see that word lime scale, or maybe spot some buildup yourself, you'll know there's this whole multi-million-dollar industry constantly innovating to tackle it, making our world hopefully a cleaner, more efficient place, one dissolved mineral deposit at a time.